Hey pterodactyls, it's your resident Homosaurus here, and welcome to my podcast, A Homosaurus in a Book. On today's episode, I'm going to be reading chapters 8 and 9 of The Loyal Pin. Now, last chapter, or I guess the last two chapters, we got gay development, sort of. We just got Princess Anil consistently expressing her thirst for Lady Pin by wanting to build a palace in her garden so she can have a clear view of her all the time, and thinking of the future and how lonely she will be if she's not in her life, and essentially begging her father to have a sleepover with her because she wants to be near her all the time. And then we have Lady Pin, who is not always so outwardly obvious with her affections, but it's the inner monologues she has and her gay zing at the princess. And also, I've been noticing we get like one kind of small, minuscule little confession from Lady Pin a chapter. So I kind of live for those little moments because it doesn't happen often. So it's nice to see, or I guess read, when they do happen. And I hope we eventually start getting more moments where she becomes more open with her feelings. But the last chapter was just amazing. I absolutely adored the princess and Prex kind of back and forth, how they're hiding in the pantry after stealing some treats from the banquet, but then finding out, surprise, surprise, that they're not that stealthy. And as I said, I'm just really excited to see that dynamic play in the TV show because I can just imagine how Becky and Nam are going to play those characters, and I am so ready for it. So I'm excited to see that dynamic. And they're one of my favorite kind of relationships in this book so far. Like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the princess and the lady's relationship, but there's something about the princess and Prex friendship. It's just so wholesome and funny and cute, and just, I don't know, I absolutely adore their relationship. So I can't wait to read more about their little shenanigans they get up to. And then we ended off last chapter with Lady Pin and Princess Anil dancing together. Our two little gay stars in that galaxy of heterosexuals at that ball, or I guess banquet, some kind of party for her brother, whatever you call it. But yeah, their little heart-to-heart moment there, just melted my heart. It got me. I was all mushy-gushy reading that part, so I hope we get more mushy-gushy moments between them, which, I mean, come on, I'm sure we are. But you all are worrying me incredibly with your comments about how I'm not ready for what's to come, and that I should calm myself and try to put on a brave face when I read a certain parts or chapters. And now I'm worried. Like, I was kind of worried before because I knew you guys were hinting that something was going to happen, but now it's getting worse. I'm getting more hints and more kind of, well, not hints, but more like people telling me to prepare myself, and I'm not prepared. So I apologize if anything happens and I can't actually read that chapter. That might be a long podcast. Because I think I have a sense of what you all are warning me about, but I'm not ready. But that's in the future. That's in like the later chapters, so we're fine right now. We got this. Kind of. But anyways, enough with this chitter chatter, and let's just get right into this chapter. Oh, but before we do, if you can, please go support the author Monma by purchasing their book, The Loyal Pin. I purchased it on Amazon for Kindle, and it's titled The Loyal Pin Volume 1. I just typed in The Loyal Pin Amazon English version, and it popped up, so I hope that helps. I heard that some people were struggling to find it. If you go to my Twitter, I will leave a link to the Amazon one. I'm not sure if it will work if you're outside of Canada, because it will be the Canada link, but hopefully it'll give you the proper kind of tools to purchase that book if you can. And I also know that it is on the MEB app, so you can purchase it there as well. And as I said before, if any other avenues or ways to purchase this book come about for me, I will let you all know. Awesome. Now, with that being said, let's get right into this. Chapter 8, The Answer. The bright summer sun shines through Cheyapruk tree leaves. Again, I apologize if I said that wrong. Reflecting on Lady Pilantita's clear cheeks, who is sitting on a white painted wrought iron chair under the widened shade of a large tree. The courtyard ground looks to be adorned with the remains of faded pink Cheyapruk flowers that turn to almost white underneath the tree. On the tree, the pink and dark red inflorescences outstandingly blow among green leaves, waiting to change its color to pale white and blow away, falling aimlessly and down in its cycle. Lady Pin, you are here! Princess Padmika's strict face seemed much more relaxed when she sat on the chair opposite her niece. Yes, Lady Pin answered her aunt, smiling a little as usual. Are you stripping ma prong? I apologize if I said that wrong. Princess Padmika looked at the yellow-skinned maprang piled up in a large clear bowl that held more than half the water in front of Lady Pin for a while, then asked, Yes, Auntie. She always chose her words carefully when conversing with her aunt. You're good at stripping now. Sorry. I'm sure Princess Anil agrees. Anyways, no, Tara, bad. Stop it. You're good at stripping now. In the past, I had to hold your hand to strip it. We wasted a lot of maprang until you can make each one. Princess Padmika looked at the brass carving knife in Lady Pin's delicate palm with a proud twinkle in her eyes after seeing the pattern on the surface of the bright maprang. It is predictable that Lady Pin is streaking a seashell pattern. But why are you preparing so many strips? Are you eating them all? There are only 2 of us in this palace. Really? I think at this point there might be 3. You know, with the amount of times the princess invites herself over and just, shows up, hikes her way up there. Lesbian is, I think there's 3 of you now. Oh. I do that all the time. I just talk and then I realize when I go back to read, the next sentence literally says what I just said. I am preparing a spare just in case. A spare? I wonder whoever for. I don't think it's for Prek. That's for sure. No offense to Prek, but I don't think she's too fond of her in the way she informally speaks to the princess all the time. And it's not for her dead parents. Ooh, wait, sorry, that was too dark. I'm sorry, that's bad. Bad, Tara. The only option is the princess, come on, let's be honest. Pilantita bowed her head, her silky cheeks glowing bright pink, competing with the ripe maprang. Just in case. Is that so? Princess Padmika's brow rose high, because she had predicted something. Do you intend to please Princess Anil? I don't think she said please that way. That was all Tara. Oh, the innuendo there. Okay. Okay, Princess Padmika. Although her aunt's tone appeared gentle, with no traces of resentment, Lady Pin promptly lowered her head without feigning otherwise. I am not that specific, Auntie, but if Princess Anil arrives, I will have a glass of striped maprang in syrup to offer to her. Princess Anil really likes it. Okay, wifey material. Princess Anil's gonna be off climbing trees and picking plums, and then she's gonna come back to a nice glass of striped maprang syrup. They're basically already married. All the princess needs to do is get that palace built for her. But it seems like she prefers having snacks near the firewood storage room, Princess Padmika said with a laugh. She is so wayward. Lady Pin grins a little as she recalled Princess Anil and Prek's fiery attitude when they were enjoying the Mu Sarang until her aunt caught them red-handed. If Princess Anil weren't here right now... Princess Padmika's keen gaze momentarily grew thoughtful, and she eventually spoke in a measured, audible tone. You might be quite lonely. Oh, we came full circle. Princess Anil said that last chapter where she asked her if she'd be lonely if she wasn't around, and Lady kind of blew it off saying, well, you're always around, so that's not even an option. And then the princess was like, well, I would feel lonely. And now Aunt Padmika's pointing out the obvious, that if the princess wasn't around, Lady Pin would feel lonely. And everybody knows how close they are, and even though they probably don't know it, but I think they sense that they're in love, even though I'm sure that's not even on their auntie's radar. But this is just... everybody's telling Lady Pin that they know she will be lonely. And I bet you she's gonna deny it or something, or brush it off. And I really, really feel like this is foreshadowing, because that's the second person who brought up loneliness in regards to the princess and her, and I'm nervous now. Not here. The hand that was sliding the edge of the maprang suddenly stopped. Why will she not be here? Lady Pin's large brown eyes were brimming with bewilderment and frustration. Frustration. Uncertain of whom to direct her frustration towards or to make demands of, I've heard that Princess Anil will be going to your... Oh, I knew it. I knew it. I called it. I knew something was going to happen. Like her brother when he went to, was it England, to study law, and then now she's going to go to Europe. I called it, and that's going to be our time jump where they come back and they're older. Like, I know it has to happen, but I'm very sad. I'm not ready for that. They're going to be changed, and then things are probably going to be tense, and then they're not going to be the same when they're apart and then come back, and I'm nervous. Anyway, so let's go. I've heard that Princess Anil will be going to Europe to study, just like her brothers. Princess Padmika continued in a calm and enigmatic tone as she observed Pilantita, who now pressed her lips together firmly, deep in thought. At first, I thought the king would not send her to study abroad like the princess, for she is his beloved little daughter. Dot, dot, dot. Also known as Lady Pin having an internal freakout because she never thought of this possibility. But as he observed Princess Anil's wisdom and distinctiveness among other children, Luang Pinit, his trusted advisor, consistently emphasized to His Majesty the potential missed opportunity if Princess Anil didn't undertake overseas studies. Eventually, the king made a decision, as he didn't want his younger daughter to lag behind his two sons. The crown prince went to London when he was 18 years old. Now, Princess Anil is just 14. Isn't that several more years? Lady Pin's eyes suddenly glowed with hope. Oh, honey. Oh. She's worried now. She is worried. Oh no. My girl wasn't expecting this. This all happened real fast. Oh, am I just not as psychic as I thought I was last episode of my podcast? Because now I just realized the reason why the princess brought that up is because it was foreshadowing, because she was literally going to be going. She probably just got that information, and that's why she brought it up, because she knows she's going. I should have realized that that's why she would bring it up, and now I know that's why she brought it up, because she knows she's going. And now, oh, Monzu. Oh, the lady Pin. Lady Pin is not going to be happy, because she's going to know that Princess Anil already knew this, and that's why she brought it up. Okay. Oh no, okay, let's go. Let's get back into this. Oh, I need to know what's going to happen. I'm nervous. Okay, we got this. Lady Pin's eyes suddenly glowed with hope. Who said that? Dot. Lady Pilantita is dying inside right now. The king has already arranged for her departure in the next 2 months? 2? That fast? Oh no, I thought like a year time. Oh no, like I knew she was leaving, but I didn't think 2 months. Okay. The king has already arranged for her departure in the next 2 months. He realized that the sooner she leaves, the more proficient she will become in language acquisition. It appeared that Aunt Pad's clear, resonant voice had transformed into a fleeting breeze, carrying a message that Lady Pin couldn't quite capture in its entirety. Pilantita is focused on the next 2 months, which is going through her thoughts and is hard to easily get rid of. Oh my goodness, Lady Pin, you look so pale. Are you going to faint? Of course she's going to faint. The love of her life is leaving her, okay? Give the woman a break. Okay? Maybe give me a break. I don't know. I'm stressed. Princess Padmika gazed upon Pilantita's pallid visage and noticed her hands tightly gripping a brass carving knife. Concerned, she extended her hand to gently touch her niece's arm in a heartfelt manner. Nothing, Auntie. Lady Pin could only speak and was silent. Please take a seat and rest first. You do not need to strip any more, ma prang. I am afraid that you will faint and get wounded. Yes. Lady Pin sadly gazes upon her aunt's worried eyes before immediately letting go of Maprang's stripping, and then just sat still. There. Pilantita's sitting still means sitting with 2 hands in front of her lap, lowering her eyes, looking blank with the motionless body. The girl's whole life is shattering before her eyes. All she's known since she's gotten adopted is the princess, and she is her only friend, and she is clearly so in love with her despite her obliviousness to it. This girl is like shattered right now. She doesn't know what to do with herself. She doesn't know how to process any of this. The fact that her person is going to be gone in 2 months, I feel so bad for her. Oh my gosh. Seeing her niece become like that, Princess Padmika was even more terrified. Lady Pin, she said with a very soft, gentle voice. Yes, Pilantita replied, while sitting still, looking looking superficially as if that sweet voice was coming out of the stone statue's lips. Why are you becoming quiet? Don't be discouraged about studying. I will let you study until higher education, even if it's in Thailand. I'm sorry. Princess Padmika, if you think for 1 second that my girl Lady Pin gives 2 flying, about education right now, you are more oblivious than I thought. How can you not see that it's about the person? As soon as you said she was leaving, she immediately shut down. You didn't even mention education yet. It's not hard to put together, 1 and 1 is equal 2 here. Why are you becoming quiet? Don't be discouraged about studying. I will let you study until higher education, even if it is in Thailand. She is testing the water, for she cannot guess her niece's sudden gloomy action. I am not carried away. This time, Lady Pin made eye contact with her aunt before answering in a hoarse voice that is almost unheard. I might just feel hot. Next scene. In hot weather like this, it is really refreshing to have striped maprang made by Kun Pin. Okay, princess. Okay. Oh, these two are so darn cute. Not Lady Pin over there making stripped maprang and then cut across to the princess wanting the lady's stripped maprang. I'm weak. Oh my god, they're too funny. But hey, that just means that the lady knows her princess, her girl. Princess Anil's voice is still extremely bright. At other times, Lady Pin would have wished to hear the princess's voice endlessly, but this time, no matter how much brighter Princess Anilapat's voice was, Pilantita's heart felt even more burdened by a heap of inadequacy. Oh, they're together. I thought she was with Prek and she was just saying, I wish I had some of Lady Pin's stripped maprang. But no, she's with the lady. But that means that the lady knew her girl was going to show up at some point because she basically lives with them now and would have her stripped maprang. Stripped maprang. I feel like I say striped a lot. It's stripped. Pilantita's heart felt even more burdened by a heap of inadequacy. All she could do was gaze blankly at Princess Anilapat, who was smiling joyfully as she scooped up the stripped maprang, shaped like seashells, which had been candied until they resembled open and closed shells. They were arranged in a clear bowl with syrup and ice, and Princess Anilapat was indulging in her favorite snack without restraint. Oh, funny. Can we just bring up the fact that whenever the chefs cook the princess something and leave it out for her and give it to her, she doesn't want it. She's like, no, I don't want it. I'm going to go steal it at some point when you don't know that I'm doing it. But then with Lady Pin, she just has to be, here, try this. I saved it for you. And then the princess is like, steal what? No, I don't steal. Like, yeah, give me all this food. I will take everything you offer me. Favoritism? Don't know her. In love? No, not at all. Whipped? No, not the princess. The princess is not whipped. Not at all. They were arranged in a clear bowl with syrup and ice, and Princess Anilapat was indulging in her favorite snack without restraint. That is true, my lady. To taste pin, pin, pan, made dish. Let's try that again. That is true, my lady. To taste Pin's made dish is not as delicious as Lady Pin's made. Preck flattered in a sweet, soft voice. If it is refreshing, please eat more. The voice was soft and sad as a sobbing. Oh, then let me redo that. If it is refreshing, please eat more. The voice was soft and sad as a sobbing. Kunpin, don't you want to eat with me? Now Princess Anil's eyes pleadingly shine before she smirks, until her cute dent shows and invites in a pleasant voice, for no one can resist these gestures. But Princess Anil's dazzling gimmicks didn't work for Pilantita at this time. The more she thinks that she will never see that bright sunshine smile, and will not hear Princess Anilapat's every word for a long time, Lady Pin feels that it is so hard to act normally. Anil, please eat it. I don't have any appetite. After saying that, Lady Pin can only swallow another sobbing lump down her throat. Are you hot? Pilantita shook her head frequently instead of answering. At this time, Princess Anilapat saw that Lady Pin's face was as pale as white paper. Stomach pain? She still shook her head and pursed her lips tightly. Those big eyes are full of complaints. Preck! Princess Anilapat's voice grew solemn, making Preck quickly swoop in and sat beside her knees. Yes, my lady, Preck answered with a trembling voice, for she never sees Princess Anilapat's face as solemn as this. I ask you for something, Princess Anilapat asked while still looking towards Pilantita. Asking me to go where, my lady? Preck can only speculate. For you to go anywhere, far away. Oh, she's doing this because she wants Lady Pin to open up to her and tell her what's really wrong, or she's probably going to tell her the truth that she's going to be going away because she might sense that Lady Pin already knows. But anyways, she just wants Preck away because she wants them to be together so they can talk it out, and she knows that the lady won't do that if Preck's there. And I feel like these two. Anyways, my heart is hurting for them, though. This is going to be a lost cause, because I don't know if the princess could deny her father's wishes to go study abroad, or if she will. I don't know if Lady Pin will let her, though, because she wouldn't want her to not go do what she wants to do, or, you know, become more educated or whatever because of her. Oh, this is going to be a mess. Okay. Preck's eyes widened as she raised her head to fixate on the princess's serene countenance, which exhibited no hint of her usual playful teasing. Consequently, she could only respond with unwavering loyalty. I humbly accept, my lady. But before crawling on her knees silently... what? Preck, my girl, get up. What are you crawling away on your knees for? Just get up. Walk away. But before crawling on her knees silently, Preck did not forget to turn around and grab her bowl of stripped maprang along, before turning her back to bow Princess Anil again. My girl Preck has her priorities straight. She's like, I'm gonna let you guys finish. I'm gonna let you do what you need to do. But let me get my snacks first, okay? I will leave you alone, but let me get my snacks first. Very wise, my lady. Without this dilemma, Princess Anil would have to laugh out loud at Preck's behavior, but now she can only look at Preck's thick back who goes anywhere far away as she commanded. When Prek had gone, Princess Anil moved to the chair next to Lady Pin before gently and kindly asking, "What exactly is wrong with you, Kunpin? Why did you not answer me?" Princess Anil observantly approached Lady Pin's face. Approached? Like, with her face? Like, close? Or with her hands? How did you approach her face, Princess? Tell the class. "Your eyes are so red. Or have you caught a fever?" Once Princess Anil's hand touched her rounded forehead, Lady Pilantita's first tear dropped down. Oh. Nobody told me this is gonna make me emotional and sad for them. Like, I just feel so bad. Because I know what's gonna happen. I know they're gonna be separated. And I know this is probably so hard for Lady Pin because she's already lost her parents. And now it must feel like she's gonna be losing the princess as well. So I can just imagine how she feels. And, oh. Once Princess Anil's hand touched her rounded forehead, Lady Pilantita's first tears dropped down. Then the second, third, and countless drops followed. Finally, her beautiful eyes are completely turned into the veil of tears. Kunpin! The twinkling, bright, sparkling looks had disappeared from Princess Anil's eyes for the first time. Oh wow. For the first time, that shows just how close these two are. Because ever since chapter 1, everyone has commented on how sparkling her eyes are, how she's always smiling, she's always happy, she's always mischievous, ever since she was young. And this is the first time where that spark, that glitter in her eye, or the sparkle in her eye, the mischievousness, the playfulness and everything is gone. And it's because she's seeing Lady Pin cry. Oh. Anyways, I'm loving how they're building up these characters and showing their personalities, and then showing how it can change when they're interacting with each other, and it seems to only happen when they're interacting with each other as opposed to the other people in their lives. They're doing a good job of showing just the type of connection these two have compared to the other characters we've seen them interact with. And even with Prek, like the connection is just different, and it's nice how they're describing it and we're able to see it. Anyways, let's get back into the story. When she sees Lady Pin's tears, she cannot do anything but get her own handkerchief to wipe away the tears from the girl in front of her, who is now looking as fragile as the clear glass with uncontrollable gestures. For she still couldn't comprehend why Lady Pin had shed so many tears. So all she can do is put her other hand on Lady Pin's hand. She finally answered the princess's question, and this is so sad, the context of why she's finally answering it, because before she didn't even want to think of it. She was like, "You're always here for me," like that. Just thinking about being lonely is not even on my radar because you're always here. And now she's finally acknowledging. Oh my gosh. Okay, I need to calm myself. I need to stop flailing. Okay. I would be lonely. After difficulty trying to stop her tears, Lady Pilantita spoke in a hoarse voice. ... Princess Anil sat still, starting to compile up the reason for Lady Pin's tears in the latter sentence. Lady Pin knew about my plan to study abroad? Anil once asked me if I would be lonely when you are not around. ... I just found out today. After saying that, Lady Pilantita was sobbing until she tossed herself. So, Princess Anil reached out and pulled her fragile little body into her arms while gently caressing the hair of the person in her arms, as if she was afraid that Lady Pin would break down in front of her. Sorry to tell you, princess, but the lady's already kind of breaking down in front of you. She's full out sobbing and tossing herself around. She's broken. my girl's already breaking down. But sorry to tell you that. I am lonely. ... Lady Pilantita continued to sob in Princess Anil's embrace with a gentle tremor. This scene's gonna make me cry. I can already tell when this scene plays on my TV screen, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna need all the tissue paper. This is gonna be heartbreaking to watch. I'm not ready. I feel very bad for these two ladies. And Princess Anil said it was her decision to study abroad, or her plan. So is she gonna not do it because she sees how heartbroken and upset the lady is? Or is it not up to her? I don't know. But that's something, like, the princess is really smart and she loves learning and studying, and we know that she's memorized chapters of or passages from books, so we know she has a thirst for knowledge. So stopping herself from pursuing a higher education, I don't know if that'd be a good thing in the long run, because she shouldn't be doing that because of somebody else. Like, she needs to do it for herself. But I don't know. Oh, this is going to be heartbreaking. I already know it's not going to end well. Lady Pilantita continued to sob in Princess Anil's embrace with a gentle tremor. ... I never want to be far away from Anil. Oh, I just had to read one more sentence and we were done. That was the end of chapter 8. I'm sorry, I went on a little rant there, and then I only had one, like, how many, like, 9 more words to say before the end of the chapter. Anyways, I wasn't expecting a depressing chapter. That was really sad. That was not as happy and fun and playful as the other chapters. We're getting real now, where the girls are getting a taste of, real life, and it's hitting them hard. Oh, I have a funny feeling, though, just because of the way that I'm almost positive there's going to be a time jump, that the princess is still going to go. I don't think she's going to stay. I think she's still going to go and study abroad in Europe, and then we're going to have a time jump, and then they're both going to be women, and they're going to have different experiences from the time they've parted, so they're going to be different people, and I think we're going to have a lot of chapters of them getting to reacquaint themselves with each other, and maybe because they'll be more adult and they'll be in a more adult mindset, that they'll start realizing that what they felt and saw in each other was actually a romantic attraction and not just like childhood affection. So it's going to be interesting to see their reactions to each other when they meet each other again for the first time as adults. So I'm excited to see that. But anyways, we'll jump into the next chapter. Chapter 9. Chapter 9 is titled In the Blink of an Eye, so I don't know if that means that we're going to literally have a time jump here, which I've been predicting since I found out that they're really young. But, yeah, let's just get right into Chapter 9. In the Blink of an Eye. Why does Anil need to study far away from home? I blurted out at some point while pretending to read a thick English textbook in the eldest brother's reading room at Barafa Palace. Behind people's backs, the two of us often use simple and ordinary conversational phrases because sometimes we feel very tired of formalities. ... The Grand Prince not only did not answer the question immediately, but he just flipped through the yellow pages of the book in front of him and smiled calmly. Then is there any reason that you shouldn't go? He replied without looking up from the book. Because... I was stunned. Because... This time, the eldest brother closed his book before raising his eyebrow, questioning me instead. Because I'm too young, I replied. From the first day, my mother knew my father's desire to send me to study in Europe. Okay, so it wasn't the princess's idea, which I thought because she said her plan, so it wasn't the princess's idea, it was the father's idea. So despite the fact that she probably doesn't want to go anymore because she doesn't want to be separated from Lady Pin, she's going to have to because her father's going to make her. Because it's going to be in her best interest. Which, I mean, to be fair, it is. Because getting a higher education is never a bad thing. But I'm sure as a 14-year-old that being separated from someone you care so much about as like a friend would seem like the end of the world and everything's going to kind of, fall apart and when you're separated. But it's interesting now that we know that it actually is the father's choice and it's not the daughter's choice or the princess's choice. So I wonder if it's going to cause some tension between the father and her. From the first day, my mother knew my father's desire to send me to study in Europe. Mother kept appealing to my father with repeated words such as, "Your Majesty, please change your mind. Anil is so young. I can't keep my daughter away from my eyes." Mother repeatedly said so, both in a solemn, intense voice, until the voice trembled, with a light sobbed. But no matter what voice or gesture it was, it could not change Father's orders. So, I chose to answer my eldest brother's question using reasons borrowed from Mother, and hide someone's reason for it. Someone's? Yeah, like a certain lady that, you want to build a palace and live across from her so you can gaze into her bedroom, or, build a little home with a picket fence where you both can live together, or I could keep going on and on. She's fed us really well with her fantasies related to Lady Pin, so I wonder who this someone is. And hide someone's reasons for it. Never wanted Anil to be away, inside my mind. Going at a young age is an advantage. Father keeps saying like that. I sighed with desperation, because even the Grand Prince, who had always agreed with me, this time he agreed with Father in Luang Pinit. From now on, no one will be able to oppose my education for sure. If you have a chance, you must seize it, right? If it's not what I want, is it still called opportunity, brother? That's it, the Grand Prince suddenly laughed. Anil likes to ask questions, unlike others. This will be really suitable for studying abroad. Yeah, she's not helping her case here. She's debating with him, and she's showing him more reason why she needs to study is because she's good at debating, and that's a sign of intelligence. And he's probably just like, yeah, look at you. You like to argue your point. You like to have debates about it. Like, education's gonna be perfect for you, girl. Just keep digging, just keep digging. If I like to question, then why do I need to study abroad? The more I hear unexpected answers from my eldest brother, the more curiously I brainstorm questions. Not helping your case, your princess. Why can't I study in our homeland? That is because if Anil really studies here, you could only ask questions endlessly. Eldest brother smiled. But if Anil goes to study elsewhere, your questions will always be answered. ... His answers left me speechless and initiated my understanding of something. Let's put it this way. Our nation isn't falling behind, but rather, it's still somewhat cautious. My elder brother's tone was exceptionally measured. Afraid to ask questions, moreover. Afraid to know the answers. If Anil continues to study here, Anil will eventually conform. Oh, that's actually a nice little reason for the family to want her to go, because they don't want her to change. They want her to continue to be inquisitive and curious and thirsting for knowledge and understanding. She's always asking questions because she wants to understand. So by sending her to another country, she's able to be in an area or a place where they don't see that as, something that maybe should not be done. Like, you shouldn't always question things. It's to help her keep that spark. And now that they discuss this more, I kind of see where the father and the brother's coming from. And I kind of agree with them. Because if she doesn't go and she loses that spark, then she loses who she is. And then she won't be the Princess Anil we all love. I'm kind of understanding why they want her to go. Even though I don't really know what Thailand's politics and education system and that was at the point in time that this was placed, or even now I don't really know a lot about it. So I don't know exactly what he means when he says you'll eventually conform, and they don't like that. He said they're not falling behind, but they're cautious, and he doesn't want her to conform. So I don't know exactly what he means by that, because I don't really know much about Thailand and their education system and that at that time. But it seems like to the father and brother, this is the only way to get her to continue to stay inquisitive and foster her inquisitive nature and her intelligence. So I can see where they're coming from, and I kind of agree with it. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have much opposition to this, but then again, I mean, she is young, so my only gripe is that maybe they should have waited till she was a little bit older and made the decision herself, because we know when people are forced to do something they don't want to do, it sometimes doesn't go well. It sometimes makes them end up rebelling and hating it. So I don't know, but it's interesting to see the father and brother's perspective on why they're sending her away. My eldest brother spoke with a discreet attitude while smiling every time I asked questions that no one has bothered answering as usual. Because I know you too well, so I cannot tell you to lose yourself. Let's just say that your early childhood education has been meticulously examined for countless reasons, he explained, and then the conversation is over. I chose to remain silent, lost in thought, with no further excuses for argument. As a result, my eldest brother went above and beyond for my sake, even dedicating 4 months to stay with me in England initially to ensure everything was in order before his departure. Oh, that's actually sweet that the brother is doing that to make sure she's settled and not just thrown to the wolves. A week from that, my life clock is busy, circling to government departments, ministries, boroughs, departments to do business and studying abroad. Let's not mention hanging out day after day as before. Sometimes I even have to ask the school to leave, not mentioning taking the time to meet someone. Someone who keeps avoiding my face. That she even changed to go to school. Oh, that she even changed to go to school early in the morning, fearing that I would stand by the wall waiting to catch a ride at P. Prim's car as usual. She's pulling away because Lady Pin, you're gonna regret that. I know why she's pulling away, because she's like, oh, you're leaving anyways. Like, she's kind of closing in on herself, and she's trying to push her away because she knows it's coming, so she wants to do it now. But then when the princess actually leaves, she's going to regret not spending every moment up until that time with her, but she's doing it to protect herself, but she's gonna, oh, I feel bad. Am I just gonna be really upset and sad and depressed these next few chapters? Like, come on. Not mentioning taking the time to meet someone who keeps avoiding my face, that she even changed to go to school early in the morning, fearing that I would stand by the wall waiting to catch a ride at P. Perm's car as usual. And she changed her pickup spot from the school gate to somewhere unknown. ... Anil is a child who never suffers and grieves like anyone else. Ooh, interesting characteristic we just learned about Anil. So she never suffers and grieves like anyone else. Or does she keep it all internal and she doesn't show it outwardly? So everybody thinks she doesn't suffer or grieve, but in reality, she internalizes it. I wonder if we're going to see her first instant of grieving or suffering when she finally departs for England and reality sets in that she's actually ripped away from Lady Pin, the one person she clearly is the only reason why she's opposed to this and doesn't want to leave. It was my mother who first said this sentence. Then came father, the eldest brother, elder brother, or even I, myself, started to believe that sentence is true. And it is probably true without change. If only I had not heard Lady Pin's sobbing words. I am lonely, and I do not want to be far away from Anil. Lady Pin's sentence had the power to stab a hole in my heart, causing a sharp pain until I almost fell in front of her right there. Oh. But at that time, when Lady Pin was as fragile as she was ready to fall apart in front of me at any moment, I could only pretend to be as strong as I always was. Who would know that evening, a girl who has never suffered, as her mother said, keeps tucking her face on the pillow and groans until tears almost distilled into blood? Okay. This is, this is heartbreaking. I thought that we wouldn't see that until it set in and she left, but seeing Lady Pin breaking down is what finally caused her to suffer and grieve, because even until that point she believed her mother's words that she doesn't do that, and she must have believed it so much that she wasn't even internalizing anything. She just believed it and she never felt it. But having to see the woman she loves, which, I mean, come on, we all know she loves her, and I'm sure even the princess knows it, that she loves her, seeing her break down is what triggered her breakdown, her own breakdown, which she's never done before. And the fact that Anil's not even, of course, Prek and Anil's friendship is solid and they adore each other, but it's the lady that doesn't want to leave. It's the lady she's thinking about. It's the lady that's causing her to have all these emotions that she's never experienced before, and to kind of break the princess in a way she's never been broken before either. So it's so interesting to read this and to see their characters and then have it completely change and see them completely just strip everything away and break down and show that the only people on this earth that can affect them is each other. Oh, if they're not endgame, if they don't end up together by the end of this, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. These two are soulmates. That's all I can say, is these two are soulmates. But then again, they're also teenagers and everything feels like 10 times more emotional and life ending and everything when you're a teenager. So that could be what we're reading here, but still. It's interesting to read these, what you thought their character was and then see it completely change because of the other character. Anyways. A girl who has never suffered, as her mother said, keeps tucking her face on the pillow and groans until tears almost distilled into blood. Someone who has never cried. When she cries. It appeared that tears welled up in her eyes, as if she had summoned all the sorrows from her life to cry out at once. I cried so much that I had to hold my hand to cover my mouth, to swallow down the tears. I did not know what I was sad about. Little that I knew. Even after that day, it seemed that Lady Pilantita was trying to avoid me. In addition to changing the going to and coming from school time, she also refused to come down and sit in the pavilion in front of the lotus pond as usual. All the moments that we absolutely adored leading up to this, that's completely gone now. She completely shut herself in. Oh. And she's doing it to protect herself, but she doesn't realize how horribly this is making the princess feel, and how she just kind of took away the one person the princess didn't want to leave, and she's forcing her to leave her early when she doesn't want to. Like, all the princess wants to do is spend all the time she can with her. And seeing these completely opposite character traits from the characters, like, one is doing it to protect herself and doesn't want to put herself through that pain, and the other one wants to experience every moment before she has to go through that pain of being separated. It's interesting to see how different these characters are to each other and how they deal with things differently. I had a lot of things to clear, so I could only ask Prek to take good care of Kunpin on my behalf. She's even asking Prek to take care of Kunpin. Oh, I'm. Anyway. Even more discreetly, I asked my father's permission that while I was studying far away from home, I would ask for Prek to take care of Kunpin for me. That would be good for both Prek and Kunpin. On Prek's side, no one would dare to bully her. On Lady Pin's side, she will have a friend like others. Prek is very clever at monitoring people's emotions. Moreover, if that person is her overlord, Prek will immediately know what to do to make her overlord feel as great as if she had the followers. Aww. So that just speaks to, I say this all the time, but that just speaks to the princess's personality, that she is leaving. She's going to be on her own. She's not going to have friends when she gets to England, but she's working up until the last moment where she has to leave to ensure that both her friends are going to be taken well care of, that they're going to be okay when she's gone, that they're going to have each other to lean on, because it's going to be difficult for them to deal with her leaving. And she's just so focused on everyone else and making sure everyone's okay. And this just makes me, like, I am absolutely loving the princess, and she's my favorite character. I say that all the time, hands down, favorite character. I cannot. Oh, she's just such a good character. You know, such a good character, so well written. In fact, the followers are seen to be the only Prek. Yeah, we kind of established that. Just like all your friends, and it was only Prek. Since I know that Princess Anil will go to study abroad, Lady Pin looks so lonely, my lady. Prek, who turned out to be a close servant of Kunpin, persuaded me as soon as we met at the front palace. Moreover, if anyone accidentally mentions that you will be leaving in the next month, her tears will drop down every time. Prek kept talking while I listened peacefully. There was a time Princess Pad accidentally broke the news that Princess Anil had already prepared and scheduled her departure date during dinner time. Lady Pin put down her cutlery and immediately ran away and cried in her bedroom. How did you know, Prek, that Kunpin was sneaking up and crying? I snuck my ear to the door of her room. Why am I not surprised? That's so Prek. Cunning as usual. Princess Pat asked me to, my lady. That is why I dare. Okay, sure. How was eavesdropping? She's sobbing so miserably, my princess. It's heart-wrenching to the point that I almost rushed to beg you to change your mind without leaving. Oh my god, do you guys realize how hard this is going to be for all of us to watch on TV? Like, both Freen and Becky sobbing and crying. Like, I cried seeing it in Gap the series. I'm not going to be okay. Oh no. Anyway, this is going to be rough, man. Is that so? It is so, my lady. Lady Pin sobbed until she seemed to break her heart. I feel sorry, but I do not know what to do. Other than that, did Kun Pin mention anything to you? She has asked me a few times if Princess Anil is no longer here. Would I not be lonely? Would I not feel sad? Ooh. Ooh. So Lady Pin's asking Prek if how she would feel with the princesses leaving, and if she would be as heartbroken and a sobbing mess and completely broken as her, because it'll show the kind of two levels of feeling for the princess, right? One would be a friendship and one would be a romantic kind of feeling. So it's interesting that the lady asked Prek, probably to see if she would feel the same way. What did you say? Kun Pin's question is so resonant with my heart that I must listen carefully to the answer of my close servant. I only replied, I will definitely feel lonely, but I hope you will be back soon. That, my friends, is the difference between a friend and a lover. You would feel lonely, you would miss your friend, but you would be happy for them for going away and getting a higher education, getting out there in the world and doing things for their lives. And you would hope they come back and, you'd be waiting for them to come back, but you wouldn't be absolutely broken and not being able to function, or even anytime somebody brings up their name and them leaving, you completely break down, go cry into your bed. Like, yes, people would cry over losing a friend and having their friend go away, but not to this level where it's like you can't even function in relation to that person. Like, that's showing that these two women have such deeper feelings for each other than friendship. I like that they brought this up, that Lady Pin asked Prek, and Prek answered how a friend would answer. And then it shows just the kind of difference in their response to the situation. Anyways, let's get back into it. Prek's large, shining eyes moved me so deeply that I nearly broke down in tears once more in her presence. Do you know how long your soon is, Prek? You asked me just like Lady Pin. At first, I said either 2 or 3 years, but Lady Pin said it wouldn't be less than 7 years. That is why I cried in front of her, my lady. But, which I said, yeah, of course you're going to cry, but does she break down all the time, anytime it's brought up? She clearly is not so distraught and devastated by it that she can't see Princess Anil face to face. She's not breaking down crying like Lady Pin did when she was face to face with the princess. So, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Oh, so you didn't actually know that I'll be gone for that long? I swallowed hard, feeling a lump in my throat. Being away from someone's life for such an extended period is not easy, especially with the people we are close to. It is really difficult. Yes, that day, Lady Pin had to comfort me instead of crying, and I lost all my beauty. Prek said with an embarrassed smile. Well, who can predict how long my princess will be away? That's more than half my lifetime, my princess. I mean, fair, like your current lifetime, not like your full lifetime. Okay, it took me a second. I was like, half your lifetime? I was like, how much longer are you gonna live? But no, I was a little, didn't process that fast enough. Because she's 14, so like 7 is half of her current life. Anyways, sorry. Prek, who was just 12 years old, murmured, "Oh, I thought Prek was 14. Oh my god, these girls are so young." Okay. Prek, who was just 12 years old, murmured, "No matter how long." The next thing I knew, I looked at Prek with fondness. "In the end, I will come back anyway." "Lady Pin comforted me like that also, my princess." "If Lady Pin comforted you like that, she might have overcome her sadness now." "No, my lady," Prek said, pouting her lips. "She seems to be more and more dull. From talking less, she hardly talks to anyone. Even Princess Pad herself noticed that Lady Pin was much quieter than before." Do I even have to say anything at this point? Like, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, people. Look at the way Prek, her good friend who she's been friends with way before Lady Pin and the princess have been friends. And then look at the lady. The math isn't mathing, my friends. The math just isn't mathing. You literally are becoming a walking zombie because your friend is going away for 7 years and then will be coming back. Like, I know 7 years. I'm gonna have people saying 7 years, and like losing a friend for 7 years is a long time, and like you don't completely stop living because a friend is leaving you. That's all I'm gonna say. "Then why did she come to comfort you, Prek?" "Knowing that, it does not mean she can get over it, my lady. Until now, when I followed Lady Pin doing errands at the front palace, if any servant mentions how they need to prepare Princess Anil's belongings to go abroad, Lady Pin had to put both hands up to cover her ears and quickly walk past the servants. This is far from being able to get over it." Anyways, not even gonna say anything. "Is that so?" That is what I can answer Prek before remaining in silence again. My typically bright thoughts immediately turned dull and foolish when it came to anything related to Lady Pilantita, starting with not knowing how to console Kunpin from her grief, because it is hard to even cheer myself up. Fortunately, fate wasn't too unkind to us. On a Sunday afternoon, when I had no prior commitments, my pre-arranged meeting with Prek was a success. Finally, Prek postponed my rendezvous with Kunpin to the garden behind the Boar Palace, where we sat in the shade of the chiapruk tree. Kunpin's face looked a little thin. Her gloomy eyes did not shine as they usually did. Her face looked thin, so she's even stopped eating. Yikes. "Are you avoiding me?" "Of course not." Kunpin refused, even though she kept looking away, pretending to look here and there, look at everything, except my face. "But it's been a while since I've seen you," I unintentionally rambled. "Maybe it is because Anil has been doing a lot of errands," Kunpin said, looking down at the leaves and playing it with her toes. "You don't even have time to play, so how can you come to see me?" "That's true. Running errands can be quite tedious. I'm feeling exhausted and lazy, Kunpin. Anil hasn't gone very far. I've been unable to see your face." This time, Kunpin gazed up to look at me, but when I really looked into her complaining eyes, it turns out that I did not dare to make straight eye contact with Lady Pin as usual. "Now that I've completed all my errands, Kunpin will have to endure seeing my face until you're thoroughly bored," I said with a wide smile, but Kunpin remained tight-lipped. "Who will ever get bored of Anil?" After saying that, Kunpin's tears dropped again. Seeing that, I could only pull Kunpin into my arms and gently pat her hair as usual. "Did I make you cry again?" Whenever you see my face, you always cry, I whispered in Kunpin's ear, who was sobbing softly and restrainedly. Even if I do not see your face, it does not mean I don't cry. The response of the person who kept snuggling her face on my shoulder was hoarse, trembling. Anil does not make me cry. I cry on my own. ... I could only tighten my lips when I heard Kunpin blame herself. My chest ached as if the wet tears on my shoulder carried a poison that seeped into my heart. Uncertain of how to console the weeping girl, I tightened my embrace and continued to speak soothing words until her sobs gradually subsided. I will write you a letter every day. I promise. Why do I feel like that's going to slowly dwindle down and then there will be no more letters and then it's just going to be radio silence for a few years? Oh, I don't like this. I really don't like this. Scene change. The night before the trip seemed to be a sea of tears, of Mother, Namyo, and Prek. Everyone's tears but me. That's gonna change, girly. Wait till you see your lady running up to you and being like, don't go. And then I'll be like, Niagara Falls up in this. I dedicated my finest moments to consoling others. All the while, my heart extends its compassion to someone whose tears from the previous night remain a mystery, since she has been crying in advance for months. I rose before dawn in preparation for my early morning flight, and even Namyo expressed astonishment at my prompt readiness, no longer needing to urge me as in the past. Namyo showered me with a continuous praise, reassuring me that if I can maintain such responsible behavior even when far away, she will have no more worries. As the moment arrived, 2 sleek black cars had already been stationed in the fountain courtyard that stretched before the palace. Everyone, including my father, mother, and elder brother, was eager to accompany both my eldest brother and I to the airport. My mother wants to ride in my car, so my eldest brother had to move to sit in another car with the elder brother and father, thinking that it is funny to see mother fussing like a young girl. It seems that Kunpra Chom had recruited the entire palace servants to sit and see me off at the fountain courtyard until it looked very pompous. This includes Auntie Pad, who waits in the main hall, but there is no sign of her niece. Yet. Give it a moment. We're gonna get a running, don't leave scene, aren't we? If we don't, I will be disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I live for cheesy moments like that. I have been looking for a long time. Finally, the 2 who I had mourned so much walked okay, it didn't happen like I hoped it would. Whatever, at least she still showed up, I guess. Finally, the 2 who I mourned so much walked hand in hand and hid in the main hall beside Princess Padmika, Kunpin, and Prek. When I got into the car, I could only turn the car window down and wave my hands all the way out, sending smiles as wide as my hearts could be pleasant. The 2 could only wave back awkwardly. The car departed slowly, but in the blink of an eye, it took us outside Sawet Tawa Reed Palace gates. In the blink of the second of parting, yet the sight of Kunpin's face through eyes full of tears that I saw for a split second when the car took off, imprinted in my memories. ... and will remain so forever and indelibly. That, my friends, is the end of chapter 9. Well, I'm sad. I was not expecting 2 back-to-back depressing chapters. What do I say? I knew this was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen so soon, but I knew it was going to happen. I said it sounded like foreshadowing when the princess asked about her being lonely when she leaves, if she was gone. And I should have realized right then that the princess wouldn't have said that all willy-nilly, like there was a reason. I can't believe I didn't clock that, but yeah, I wasn't expecting it to happen this fast. I'm interested to see if we're going to do a time skip or if we're actually going to follow Princess Anilapat and Lady Pin through the years that they're separated and kind of see what events happened and how their characters developing as they age. In 7 years, they're both going to be in their 20s, so they're going to be a lot more mature and have more, well, at least the princess is going to have more world experience. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, what develops, how their characters change in that time. But man, was that ever sad, those 2 chapters. I don't know. I really hope that it's not too sad going forward. Like, yeah, they're separated, but I hope they kind of start doing their own thing, because I don't know how much more of them being depressed and sad and crying I can take. Because I'm already picturing this into the TV show, and I don't know how many episodes I could take of them being sad and depressed. So fingers crossed it's not much. But yeah, I know I said this while I was reading, but the only other thing I can think about in regards to these 2 chapters is that I understand that when people lose a friend because they go away for a few years, it's hard and you're going to cry. Depending on your personality. If you're not a crier, then you won't cry. But some people will cry when their friends leave. But, you know, it's to completely lose yourself, to stop eating, basically stop living, just being a shell of yourself, and, you know, everybody around you noticing and being concerned for you. And having that because of a friend, it doesn't add up. And I know that that's showing because the way they had Lady Pin ask Prek how she felt. And Prek said she'd feel lonely, but, you know, she knows she's coming back. And when she found out there's 7 years, she cried. Of course, you're going to cry when you find out your friend or your best friend's going away for quite a few years. But it didn't change Prek's personality. She still was talking with the princess. She still, you know, was going about her day-to-day life. But the lady, it completely ruined her. And I like the contrast they showed there. According to them, they're both technically the princess's friends. So seeing the huge gap of how they're both reacting, it helps show that what the lady feels for the princess is something more than what you would feel for a friend. And I like how they did that contrast of asking Prek how she felt, because it helps show the difference of how a friend would feel and a lover would feel. And I know they're young and they probably, at that point, it seems, well, maybe the princess knows that it's more of a romantic feeling, but the lady doesn't seem to really know it's a romantic feeling she feels. She just catches herself staring at her and thinking of her and situations like that, but you don't get the vibe that she knows it's a more romantic sense. But then you do from the princess, because she's talking about having a future with her, living together and all that. So you get the vibe that the princess knows her feelings a bit better than the lady. But as I said, the contrast between the 2, Lady Pin and Prek, just helps show that what the princess and the lady feel for each other is so much more than friendship. And I like that we got that kind of comparison in this. But anyways, now that I'm sad and a little, you know, down about these last 2 chapters, I hope you all enjoyed. I mean, can you really enjoy when it's really sad? I don't know, but I hope you all enjoyed this episode of my podcast. And I can't thank the author enough for giving me permission to do this podcast style reading of this book for you all. I'm having a blast doing it, and I'm glad to hear that you all are enjoying it as well. And as I said before, if you guys have any kind of feedback or comments, just let me know on Twitter, or I'm starting to upload my podcast to YouTube now. So not only is it going to be on Spotify, it's on YouTube, and I also have it on Amazon Music as well, or Amazon Podcasts, but it's on Amazon Music as well. So I know on YouTube you can write comments if you're watching it from there about how you thought of this chapter. But if you're coming from Spotify or the other platform, just hit me up on Twitter. Let me know how you're feeling about this podcast, how you're feeling about the book. Kind of, tell me what you like and don't like. And please, please, don't attack me too much with pictures from the loyal pin. Please, have mercy on my soul. There's only so much gay I can take, okay? But anyways, this is where I sign off, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, everyone.